Hello there, my beautiful Aquarius signs. This is Rachel with Dark Knight Coaching. Today's video is a traditional Celtic cross spread that I pull for you. It actually seems to be a little bit more modified today than normal because I have a lot of clarifying cards that came out with your energy. The song that I was guided to meditate to today was Boomerang by Yeba. It's Y-E-B-B-A if you want to check out that artist and that song. It's all about karma. It's all about bringing someone to their knees because they've done you dirty, or vice versa if that's your energy. But you, Aquarius, you're a humanitarian, and I highly doubt if you're watching this video you've probably done some bad karmic stuff. I do feel like, oops, if you've been that was just a cord that fell. If you've been waiting for karma to come around for someone in a love situation or a family type situation, I do feel like that is happening because there's going to be a lot of shifting happening energetically in Aquarius time frame, and I have a lot of confirmations with that energy here. So let's go ahead and dive into the tarot, and then I'm going to dive into a bunch of oracle and wisdom cards that I pull after that. So if you're just here for the tarot, watch the first half of this video. If you're interested in those oracle cards, make sure you hang around for the second half of the video. But if something in this video happens to resonate, please make sure you smash that like button. It helps my channel grow and I greatly appreciate it. If you're interested in a one-on-one coaching session, you can book that with me on my website, or you can book a personalized tarot reading with me on my website as well. Now, right away, Aquarius, your energy here is Leo energy. Perseverance is going to be required at this time. That's what the strength card is all about. So it's like slow and steady wins the race, but you're also embodying the lion and the lamb energy. That's kind of how I view this card a lot of the time. Now, your challenge here is healing. I feel like sometimes this can be like a wish granted card or a wish fulfilled card. So maybe you've been wishing for or waiting for closure or clarity when it comes to a situation. And this is also to do with January time frame into February. And because that's Aquarius energy here with the star card. And I feel like you're going to be getting some sort of disclosure or confirmation of something in this period. Now, the basis of everything that's happening and why and what's going on here is the Two of Swords and the Hierophant. So the Hierophant came flying out, which I was happy to see with this Two of Swords energy, because Two of Swords is usually like having some hard choice to make, and the Hierophant is maybe learning something new or being stuck in like old ways, traditional value systems that are no longer serving you. So I feel like you're choosing to see something differently or more from a higher perspective, because there's been a lot of illumination around a situation that's been very conflicting for you. There's been a lot of conflict in your energy because the subconscious here I have is the Five of Wands, and that is a card of fighting, essentially. So if you've been fighting with a family member or a friend or coworkers or something, there is going to be some resolution here. Now, in the recent past, for a lot of you, this has to do with love because you have the Page of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. So some slow-moving offer of love, or you're dealing with someone with a big age gap. This can be like you know, you're on the dating site or dating scenes, but you're not really finding anyone that you're really vibing with that's in your general age range. So you're kind of maybe going either very young or very old. That's kind of the extremes that I see there. Now, for those of you that aren't particularly involved in love, this is more so an energy of a slow-moving opportunity to keep your heart space open. Now, the next card I have for you, Aquarius, is your present vibe as well. So this is where the karma and that boomerang song really come into play. So if a lot of you have been dealing with like deadbeat dads or sons that are deadbeat dads or something along that line, like I feel like you've just kind of gotten fed up with it. So if you've been enabling or excusing someone's poor behavior or neglectful or abandonment type behavior, I feel like that you're no longer in that zone, because the Ten of Swords is like, stick a fork in me, I'm done. Energy. It's like you've been deceived, you've been lied to, you've been betrayed, and you're not going to be around those people anymore. You're not going to subject yourself to that sort of treatment because it's basically torturous. And you're going to move forward out of this negative energy because you are growing here. That shows up in the cards for sure. And it's because you're also doing this reflection work. It's introspection. It's also shadow work. So it's like maybe you're seeing that you were your own worst enemy in a situation because maybe you were misleading, or maybe you were misguided by people you thought had your best interest in mind, and now like it's requiring you to go within, and that's what the Hermit card's all about. This is Virgo energy, but this is about going within, doing the healing work, doing the shadow work, seeing your traumas for what they are, seeing other people's traumas for what they clearly are, and removing the mask. And that's a great progress. It's a lot of heavy work and hard work, but it is opening an opportunity and a new door for you. Now, your advice from Spirit is the Fool and the Knight of Cups. This is a new chapter. This is the end of a cycle and the entry of something new. Your challenge here, I feel like, though, is to remain in this like open-hearted energy, because when we've been betrayed, when we've been deceived by people, a lot of the times we'll close off our heart space as kind of a coping or a protection mechanism. But when we choose to love, we are choosing to love. When we choose fear, we're choosing to be afraid. So you have a choice to make here, and your guides and your higher self and is guiding you to try to keep this like Knight of Cups energy, to try to be in the state of love still, even if people, don't deserve you. Like, you can still be loving and kind and not expend your energy on them, but still remain yourself. Now, how do people see you? They see you as this 9 of Wands and this 8 of Swords. So 9 of Wands is like the wounded warrior, that's Sagittarian energy. You've been through the ringer, you've been through a lot. And the 8 of Swords is like you're trapped in your thoughts. Maybe you're in this like fight or flight kind of mode, analysis paralysis or functional freeze, like where you don't want to get up and do anything. You're not really fully understanding why something's happening. And you're kind of waiting for clarity, or waiting for I feel like you're waiting for something, and I don't think there is anything specific that's going to happen to trigger you or to like get you out of that mindset, other than the shadow work that you're going to have to be processing and going through for the next month because of that star energy. It's like during this whole Aquarius time frame, you're going to be healing a lot. Now, in your hopes and fears, you have the Moon card. This is about illusions, perceptions, not seeing things clearly. This is also about tying your emotional cycles to the moon. So we just went through a new moon in Capricorn on the 31st or the 30th, and it was a black moon, which means it was the second new moon in a month. And that was a significant shift, energy shift, because it's planting the seeds of wherever Capricorn falls in and whatever house that is for you. But for a lot of us, it's just an energetic cleansing. Now, the next card I have, Aquarius, is the potential outcome here. So you have the 2 of Wands. This is a portal energy. This is making a plan and moving forward. I do feel like you're going to be tested, though, by, like, you will have a choice. You can fall into old habits and old patterns, or you can really, like, make a plan and stick to it. And I feel like that's going to be a test over the next few months for you also. So that's what I have for you when it comes to the tarot, Aquarius. And then I'm going to dive right into the oracle cards because there's a lot of flow here. That's kind of a natural feeling. Now, if you like what I said here so far, please make sure you smash that like button. Again, you can book a one-on-one coaching session with me or a tarot reading on my website. Now, growth is key here because you've gone through such hardships. But this growth card with the green on the outside of this card, that symbolizes the heart chakra. So again, keeping your heart open is very, very important at this time, especially when you're going through this pain and removing all of these knives. The next card I have is number 14. So when God closes a door, he opens a window. That's the first thing I think of whenever I see this card. Truth be told, it's like the truth shall set you free as well. So I do feel like there is clarity coming from some sort of illusion or some sort of false reality, and it's lifting the wool off of your own eyes, essentially. Sometimes that's painful. A lot of the times it's painful. to see that we're our own worst enemy, but I do feel like there's going to be an opportunity here, not only for growth, but to keep an open heart and open mind, and to trust yourself and trust that inner guidance and that inner knowing, which is why we have the trust card here. So it says you have a strong connection to your soul's loving voice, and you have faith in your intuition. And again, there's more about self. So it's like this, everything you've been through, these trials, these tribulations, it's creating and molding this new sense of self. And when we go through this transition, through this metamorphosis, it feels very, very uncomfortable, because basically we're shedding the old skin. That's what the symbolism of snakes are about. So anytime you see a snake in biblical imagery or a theological reference to a snake, a lot of people have a negative connotation with that. Like the snake is a temptation, but it's really not. The snake is a symbol of not only the, what's that called? The infinity symbol. It's a symbol of shedding the old skin and morphing into the new. It's basically alchemy. Now, the self card here with the pearl, this one is interestingly enough like at the heart space. Usually when I talk about senses of self, I think of solar plexus, but since this pearl is specifically kind of in the heart space energy, I feel like it's, again, just maintaining a loving mindset even when you're going through something that's very difficult. And it's not easy to do that, because sometimes you will fall into the shadows and you're going to maybe want revenge or want to see karma play out or want someone else to suffer because you're suffering. And hurt people. And once you realize that, then you usually, hopefully, can come to a point of self-awareness and love and kindness and be like, I don't want to hurt anyone else. I don't want anyone to have to feel the pain that I've felt. And I feel like it's shifting your mindset, because if you're stuck on seeking revenge or something of that sort, it's not going to get you very far, and that's really just going to come back and boomerang right back to you. So the moon card I have is void of course moon. It says nothing will come of the situation. I want to say off course, but it says of course. So maybe if you dive too much into the darkness, like this is a very dark card compared to the rest of them, you will go off course. And I think this is kind of a warning to you as well. There is some sort of elephant in the room, because the elephant card came out, and the first thing I thought of was white elephant gift. So this has to do with family, perhaps. But elephant in the room is the next saying that popped in my head. And when I get these like little messages that pop in my head, or if I get a visual of something, I usually share it, because it's usually part of the reading. Now, this one says, use your sense of empathy to iron out differences in your family or in your personal and professional relationships. Sometimes people lie to protect someone, but really at the end of the day, whose peace were they protecting? So that's what you have to ask yourself, because most of the time when someone's coming from a place of fear or shame, they're lying to protect their ego. They're lying to protect their peace. They're lying so they don't have to explain themselves or justify bad behavior or take accountability or responsibility. And sometimes, especially in traditional religious settings, that's usually what people do when they are caught, because they're afraid that they're going to get in trouble. They're afraid someone's going to see them for who they truly are. And that's modern religion, Western religions. That's one thing I don't like about a lot of those things, because typically I find it's more of a cultist system, and it's a fear-based and shame-based metric system, essentially. And I think that's not a true reflection of how the Creator, whatever God you want to believe in, is delving out karma or justice or things like that. That's my own personal opinion. So take that with a grain of salt. If you don't agree, make your own YouTube channel. And then the next card I have for you is the number 17 from the I Ching. If you've never learned about the Tao, you might want to dive into that. The I Ching is tied to the Tao, which is an interesting practice. There's a book that I like to refer people to if you're really interested in your soul path, your soul purpose. You can read something called the Gene Keys, which breaks down I think there's 76 or 68 different keys And it really breaks down each one and which one you were born under a certain star sign for a certain reason, and it's tied to your karma of a past life and your soul's purpose in this life. Now 17 says following, and immediately when I saw this card, I kept getting like sheep, like you're being a sheep and just going with whatever anyone says, and sometimes when you're a sheep it just makes you a pushover, and not having an original thought or an original idea is kind of dangerous in this world, because being normal in this world is actually quite crazy. Now this card on the back says honor the flow of energy from source to fulfillment and align your actions to it, allowing your ideal outcome to meld with the natural current. Following may then be an effortless flow of supportive synchronicities, and moving with the creative process is never a mistake. So the context of the card and the context of my intuitive reading are quite different, but I do feel like if you're trusting yourself and your gut and your inner knowing, you're going to be guided in the proper direction, because you're going to know innately what's right and what's wrong, and not everything is always black and white. There is a gray area based on situations and things, to a certain point, but I do feel like you're using your intuition and you're healing that inner guidance as well. The next card I have for you, Aquarius, is Identify. This is from my third eye chakra deck. It says, sit with your feelings and consolidate your mind feelings and gut feelings into one course of action. Does this require a whole brain response, and is the right response the one you're fighting? So our head and our heart can confuse things, because a lot of the time if you're a logic-minded person, you're going to want to go with your head space, and if you're more of an empath, you're going to want to go with your heart space. Now the fine dance is connecting those two and trying to understand what it is you're feeling and why. And when you can really understand the why, it creates this whole other side of you that can tap in and really know the self, and I think that's just vital here. So meditation can be a great way to tap into basically no thought at all, which is where your mind sometimes needs to be, into versus having all these thoughts and kind of identifying your ego and yourself to them, because your thoughts aren't who you are. They are just almost like passing trains, so you have to pay attention to the trains, but you can't let them like mow you over, So the next card and the last card I have for you, Aquarius, is from my another moon oracle deck. For whatever reason, a string might be significant. I just saw this as like a string being plucked for some reason, so maybe a guitar or a ukulele or something along those lines is significant. I also kind of viewed it as like the string of fate, like a red string theory. So this one says, I am grateful for all the things unfolding in my life and all that is yet to come. Having an attitude of gratitude is important. Again, this ties to that truth be told card. So when God closes the door, he opens a window, and I do feel like it's going to take you to a different destination than you had originally planned for. But it's a better spot than you've ever been. So a lot of positivity there, Aquarius. Hopefully this video helped. Again, if it did, please smash that like button, and I will see you next time.